Don't we all love Mausers? But they can give you issues sometimes. So this has a controlled feed, they call it. So what a control feed means is your round is going to be underneath your extractor. See that? How that round is always underneath the extractor, and it's always controlled by the extractor, and the extractor is not going to let it go until you actually hit your ejector at that point. So what will happen sometimes with K98Ks, and what typically causes it, is your extractor itself. You see that right here? Your extractor right here, it has a taper in it. So it isn't actually a square piece of metal. So it has a taper in it. And with that taper, sometimes if your rifle has been shot a lot, that taper will get squared off. And what will happen is it won't do as good of a job as actually controlling the round. So sometimes your round will slip out of the extractor and it'll actually go ahead of your bolt. And when it does, I'll just put this inside the chamber. It's dummy anyway. What will actually happen is you will have a tough time because your extractor actually has to hook over the round when that happens. So that's really the only issue that you're going to get with a Mauser for feeding issues. They are typically very reliable, and the magazine is typically very reliable. It isn't like a Lee Enfield or whatever, where you can bend feed lips or anything like that. So it's kind of common for Russian captures, but what you do is you take out your bolt, and you can kind of see the extractor a little bit better. But I actually had to do this with mine because mine actually got squared off a little bit too, and occasionally it would slip that round. And when we go and chamber your gun, you have to almost beat the bolt down just to get it to chamber. So to take an extractor off of the Mauser bolt, you push down like that, and you twist it on the other side of the lugs, so it's going to look something like that. You continue pushing down and you push forward. Now with this, what I've done to actually give this a bit more of a taper is I just took a bastard file and scraped it just ever so slightly, just to kind of sharpen up that metal a little bit. And now she's shiny and good, and I haven't had any issues with feeding. So it's very easy to do that, and it takes no time, and it just makes your gun overall a lot more reliable. But you know, these things, there's no telling the history of them. They could have 2 rounds through them, or they could have 10,000 rounds through them, right? So anyway, hopefully that helps you guys out and makes your Mauser one of the best guns you got.